In East Ukraine, let's cross to editor of Politics First magazine, Marcus Papadopoulos. Thanks so much, Marcus, for joining us here on RT International. Well, Moscow has accused Kyiv of ramping up tensions in East Ukraine ahead of key international summits. So would you agree the timing is significant here?
I think it's extremely significant. History tells us that provocations occur in most conflicts, if not all, and they occur at extremely significant times. So all we need to do is go back to the Bosnian Civil War of the 1990s. Whenever a major conference was being held on trying to resolve that conflict in Bosnia, or when senior UN officials were in Sarajevo, there would be a mortar attack against Bosnian Muslim civilians, there would be snipering against Bosnian Muslim civilians, and the Bosnian Muslim side blamed it onto the Bosnian Serbs. Now we know through various UN officers having spoken out against it that the people responsible for those atrocities, they were not the Bosnian Serbs, they were the Bosnian Muslims. And the Bosnian Muslims did that to provoke the Serbs and to paint the Serbs in a very negative light. But if we turn to Kiev, of course, Kiev is playing a very, very similar game as to, for example, the Bosnian Muslims. They are trying to project themselves as abiding to the Minsk agreements, and they are hoping that by portraying themselves as the victim, as the innocent party in this conflict, that they're going to gather further and further support internationally. Now, it's quite clear that Ukrainian government forces and neo-fascist paramilitaries are actually attempting to provoke the militias in the Donbass in order to portray them to the world as the antagonists. Now that's absolutely malicious nonsense, but it's being picked up on by Western mainstream media, which is a staunch supporter of the Ukrainian government.
Well, Marcus, speaking of the international aspect that you mentioned earlier today, in fact, the Ukrainian parliament said that it would allow the presence of foreign troops to maintain peace and stability. So why would Kyiv do that?
Well, I think Kiev, of course, will attach some very, very stringent conditions to allowing foreign forces, for international peacekeeping forces to come into the Donbass. But once again, Kiev is playing a PR game here, and undoubtedly there are major Western PR firms that are advising the Ukrainian government, and I suspect in private as well. So once again, the Ukrainian government is saying it has nothing to hide and that it is open to allowing a peacekeeping force, peacekeeping monitors, to monitor the situation at Donbass. But once again, those peacekeeping forces or inspectors would be under the control, under the supervision of Kiev's forces. So I wouldn't pay too much significance to what Kiev says. The reality is that Kiev is being prosecuting a brutal campaign in the Donbass, and also is targeting a very large section of its own population, from Odessa to Kherson to Dnipropetrovsk to Kharkov. So I think it's ironic how the Ukrainian government portrays itself as the victim in all this, when it's actually the antagonist.
All right, Marcus, thanks so much for sharing your thoughts with us here on RT International. That was editor of Politics First magazine, Marcus Papadopoulos, talking to us.